Be holy because I am holy. And we think of holy meaning perfect, but God isn't holy because he's perfect. He's holy because he's the only one that's perfect. The word holy just means set apart, totally different, not comparable to the others. And so in Isaiah 40, it tells all of what makes God holy, what makes him totally different than all the other gods. And so I'm just going to read you a few verses of it because it's long, but it's so good. So I'm going to read you a few verses. Isaiah 40:12 through 14 says, "Who has measured the waters in the hollow of his hand, measured heaven with a span, and calculated the dust of the earth in a measure? Weighed the mountains in scales and the hills in a balance? Who has directed the Spirit of the Lord, or as his counsel has taught him? With whom did he take counsel, and who instructed him and taught him in the path of justice? Who taught him knowledge and showed him the way of understanding?" And then skip down to verse 18. "To whom then will you liken God? Or what likeness will you compare him?" Then verse 21, "Have you not known? Have you not heard? Has it not been told to you from the beginning? Have you not understood from the foundations of the earth? It is he who sits above the circle of the earth, and its inhabitants are like grasshoppers, who stretches out the heavens like a curtain and spreads them out like a tent to dwell in. He brings the princes to nothing. He makes the judges of the earth useless." 25, "To whom then will you liken me, and whom shall I be equal to, says the Holy One? Lift up your eyes on high and see who has created these things, who brings out their hosts by number. He calls them all by name. The hosts are the stars. He calls all the stars by name. By the greatness of his might and the strength of his power, not one of them is missing." 28, "Have you not known? Have you not heard? The everlasting God, the Lord, the creator of the ends of the earth, neither faints nor is weary. His understanding is unsearchable." No one can do those things, right? No one measures the water of earth in their hand. No one knows how many stars there are. No one counts the sand on the seashore. No one can do these things. And so that's what makes God holy. And God says, because he is holy, he is set apart from all the other gods, and we belong to him, then we should be set apart from all the other people. And so this is the last part of it. If we're going to dedicate ourselves to him, then we need to be clean, just like Manoah's wife needed to be clean so she didn't taint her children, right? She needed to be clean. We too need to do that. We need to live a life that is above reproach, a life that is showing our children what it looks like to dedicate themselves to God so that they can do that, so that we are a good example to them. So we should look different than everyone else. That's what it means to be holy, like God is holy. Set ourselves apart from the rest of the people. 1 Peter 1:14-16 says, "As obedient children, don't be conformed to the passions of your former ignorance. But as he who called you is holy, you also be holy in your conduct, since it is written, you shall be holy because I am holy." So don't do what you did when you were ignorant of God, before you knew him. Now that you know him, act different than the rest of the world, just as he is different from all the other gods. He wants you to be set apart. Other people should be able to look at us and say, they resist the things of this world. They don't do all of the things that all of the other people do. And also they seem to have this joy and this peace that doesn't even make sense to their circumstances. Like there's something different about them. We shouldn't even have to tell other people about God initially, because they should recognize something different in us and be like, what is it that makes you like this? And then you can tell them about your God. That is the easiest way. Just live a life that is different from everyone else, and everyone will see it, and they'll want to know what's going on with you. And then you can tell them. And so Romans 12, 1 through 2 says, I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, that you present your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable to God, which is your reasonable service. That's the reasonable thing for you to do. After all he's done for you, present yourself as a living sacrifice to him, acceptable and pleasing to him, holy, separate. It says, don't be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is the good and acceptable and perfect will of God. That's what I was saying. Don't conform to the ways of this world. If you don't, they'll notice. And then 2 Timothy 2, 15 to 26. Do your best to present yourself to God as one who should be approved, a worker who has no reason to be ashamed, rightly handling the word of truth. Avoid irreverent babble, for it will lead people into more and more ungodliness, and their talk will spread like gangrene. Among them are some people that existed in that time. And then he says, those people swerved from the truth, saying that the resurrection already happened, and they're upsetting the faith of some of the people. He says, but God's firm foundation stands, bearing this seal. The Lord knows those that are his. Let everyone who names the name of the Lord depart from iniquity. If you call yourself a Christian, if you call yourself a Christ follower, then depart from iniquity. Now it is a great house. There are not only vessels of gold and silver, but also wood and clay. Some are for honorable use and some are for dishonorable use. So if you have a home, you have things that are for honorable use and things that are for dishonorable use. And he says, therefore, if anyone cleanses himself from what is dishonorable, he'll be a vessel for honorable use, set apart as holy, useful to the master of the house. That's what we want to be, useful to him. We want to serve our purpose. We want our children to serve their purpose. Ready for every good work. So flee your youthful passions and pursue righteousness, faith, love, and peace among with those who call on the Lord from a pure heart. Have nothing to do with foolish, ignorant controversies. You know that they breed quarrels. The Lord's servants must not be a quarrelsome people, but must be kind to everyone, able to teach, patiently enduring evil, correcting his opponents with gentleness. God may perhaps grant them repentance leading to a knowledge of the truth, and they may come to their senses and escape from the snare of the devil after being captured by him to do his will. So what he's saying is, if you act like that, if you correct your opponents with gentleness, if you don't quarrel with people, if you are patient in enduring the evil people, if you act righteously and lovingly and with peace, people will notice. And then you might bring them to salvation. This is all of our purposes. This is all of our purposes. Serve him by setting yourself apart. Your purpose is to lead other people to God, to show them how to live a life pleasing to him, to show them that he deserves their faithfulness. And so one more verse and then we'll close. Deuteronomy 6, 4-9. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your strength. These words that I command you today shall stay in your heart, and you should teach them diligently to your children. Talk about them when you sit in your house and when you walk by the way, when you lie down and when you rise up. Bind them as a sign on your hand and let them be frontlets between your eyes. Write them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. So what he's saying is, let these commands that I command you today, these words in this book, let them rule your life. Be a part of your everyday life. Teach them to your children. Show them the way. Write them on the doorposts of your house so that as soon as people enter your home, then it is filled with him. This is how we direct our children to him. This is how we dedicate ourselves to him. So hope that that has been encouraging to you today. Mother's Day last week. This is a fitting lesson for us to remember how to be good parents. Sometimes we think we should do all these things, and we buy these parenting books and we try to learn all the perfect things. And, it seems like Manoah was kind of doing that. Manoah's like, tell me exactly how to raise him. I want to do it all exactly right. And he just says, follow me. Dedicate your life to me. Devote yourself to me and devote him to me, and you'll be all right. And so that's all of the parenting advice that we need. Just follow God. Give your whole life to him, and then dedicate your whole life to helping your child find him so that they can live the purpose that he has for them. That's it. That's all we have to do as parents.